Great. All right. So today we have Alan from HIS Tanzania presenting the FlexiPortal solution to make generic public portals using DHIS2 data. So whenever you're ready, Alan.
Yes, thank you, Kai. Thank you once again. So hello, everyone. My name is Alan Andrew, and I'm a software developer from HIPS, Tanzania, and I'm happy to be here with you all today. So in today's session, we'll have a live demonstration of FlexiPortal. But before that, I would love to give you a quick or a brief summary to what it is, why we built it, and some of its key features. And at the end, we'll wrap up with a quick section of questions and feedback, whereby some of my team members will chip in to answer some of your questions. So I would love to share my screen and we get started. So hopefully everyone can see my screen.
Looks good.
Okay, thank you. So building public portal with DHIS2 FlexiPortal. Now, what is FlexiPortal? So FlexiPortal, this is a customizable, deployment-ready, public-facing web app that's designed to give you secure access to DHIS2 data without the need of the user to log in. So it was built with flexibility in mind, making it easy to design and launch your portals that showcase your charts, maps, and other visualization directly from your DHIS2 instance, but as well as to showcase other resources that you might have. Now, why did we build FlexiPortal? For a long time, sharing of the chess 2 data with the external audience, such as the general public, partners, or government departments, meant either directly giving them access to the DHIS2 instance, of which came with its limitation and risks, or building custom websites from scratch, of which both of these options were time-consuming, technical, and often unsustainable. Whereby for our case, we have been building custom websites for country support such as Tanzania and Somalia, and the major challenge that we faced was redundant work when it came to maintenance and updating. So as a result, FlexiPortal was born to solve this exact problem, offering a simple but a standardized solution that's scalable as well. Now, after we have seen why we built FlexiPortal, now let's take a look at some of its key features. So we'll take a look at 4 key features that FlexiPortal offers, and one of these features is branding and customization. So with FlexiPortal, you have full control over the look and feel of your public portal, whereby you can apply your own logos, have your own kind of color scheme, and apply the layout however you want. And second is DHIS2 visualizations. You can publish your maps, your tables, and all sorts of visualization directly from your DHIS2 instance to your public portal. And just beyond visualization, you can also publish static content. By static content, I mean blog posts, articles, news items. You can have them published to showcase various posts or articles that you have. And lastly, document sharing and resources. You can also share documents and resources such as official reports, policy briefs, datasets, and even training materials directly in your public portal. Now that you have seen, we've had a brief demonstration, a brief introduction, we can go directly to the live demonstration and see how these features work. So as we all know, DHIS2 FlexiPortal, it's a 2-part system. It has a FlexiPortal Manager app, as well as a public portal, as you can see. And for FlexiPortal Manager app, you can simply have this installed in your DHIS2 instance directly from the App Hub. But also for the public portal, there are various ways of which you can have this set up, but one of them is through a hosting site such as Vercel. There are also different kind of ways of which you can set both the public portal and the FlexiPortal Manager app, whereby it's well documented in our documentation, of which I hope some of my members will have it shared in the chat. Now let's take a look at FlexiPortal Manager app. So for FlexiPortal Manager app, once you have it installed, this is the landing page that you'll see. It has different tabs from general, appearance, modules, app module, app menu, and import and export configuration. We'll start with the general tab. So here, the general tab is where you perform all your public portal configuration from the application name, its description, its application URL, and its application icon. So once you have this configured, you can just click save. And once a user searches for your public portal, this is what would appear in the search engine. So as you can see on my right-hand side, we have the app icon over there and the title, the name, application name displayed. So once this is configured, you can head over to the next, we'll head over to the next session, of which it's appearance. So in appearance, here is where you do the branding and customization from your color scheme, header configuration, as well as footer configuration. So before I head over and explain to you what you can do in the appearance tab, let me show you our public portal that I have set up for you today. So here is our public portal. We have different menu tabs over here, but this is the general look and feel of our public portal. Now let's see how we can customize it and make it better. So for starters, in the appearance, you can change the application colors from how you'd want your primary color to be, background color, as well as titles colors and your chat colors. For primary color, we can have it set out to whatever color we want. So let's say, for instance, we want to modify it to be light blue. And once you're done, you can configure other sets of colors as well, however you want. And once you click update, this will automatically appear here once you refresh. So when we refresh, this is what would happen. Instant updation, and the portal is the way that you want it to be. Furthermore, you can have your header configuration and footer configuration as well. So in header configuration, you can configure from the title and the subtitle, but also the leading logo that you saw in the header part, and also configure how you'd want your width and height to be of that logo. But there's also show advanced options, whereby if you want to have more or customize it a bit more, you can just click the show advanced option, and there inside you can set if you'd want a trailing logo to appear. So you can just click this, and once we update, a trailing logo will appear as well. But also you can have other settings such as show color background, and if you'd want to use primary color as your background color, and also configure your header height. Also, you can configure your title styles and your subtitle styles. So let's say right now, all of this is aligned at the left side. So we can have it aligned at the center. And once you're done, you can just click update. And once it updates and refresh, you'd have the look and feel that you'd want. So yes, this is how it will appear. Now you can also configure your footer configuration. In the footer configuration, there is general. You can decide the copyright, how you want it to be, the short title, if you'd want the title to be displayed, and the subtitle, as you can see over here, DHIS2 FlexiPortal demonstration. But also, you can decide whether you'd want it to have a colored background. Let's say we'll just default to a non-colored background. And also there's footer items. So in footer items, you can display, there are two types of footer items, whether it's static or if you want to display links. So if we edit here, there's a rich text where you can have or make however you want your address or static content to appear in the public portal. And once you're done, the same case for the useful links, you can add its title and add as many links as you want. Sorry. Okay. Now, once that's done, we can head over and refresh and see how the portal has changed. And this is how it will look. So after that, we'll head over to another tab, of which the modules part. So in the modules part here is where you configure your dashboards and configure your static content, or if you'd want to have a page dedicated for documents only, sharing your documents only. So in this module types, there are different types of modules, as you've seen earlier, and the features it provides. There is visualization, where you can have a module dedicated to display only visualizations that are directly from your DHIS2 instance. But there's a section module, of which this is it's sort of a hybrid module where you can display visualization, but also you can display your rich text or content that you'd want the user to see. There's also documents module, whereby this is special for highlighting the documents that you have or you want the audience to see. And there's also static module, whereby here you can publish your blog posts, or if you have articles or news items you want your audience to see, you can do it in the static module. So all these modules can be created from this simple create a new module button, whereby you write the title or label that you'd want for that particular module, but also display or select the type of module that you'd want to create, and also the ID part, of which this will be auto filled from your label to be used as the URL. So I already have some of the modules here displayed, and we'll take a look at some of them and how best you can use them. So starting with ANC dashboard, this is a visualization dashboard. And once you're inside, you can configure from your label, title, show description, and display filter, and also categorized visualizations into groups. So I'll start with the label part, what this label represents in your public portal interface. So for the label, this act as your sidebar label, but also the title would act as your title of the main page. And also the short description and a longer description. So we'll see obviously how this appears in our public portal. So once we head over to our public portal over here and click ANC dashboard, this is how it would appear. We have our ANC dashboard, that's the label over here, and we have our title over here. But also we have the short description. If your dashboard would have a short description, then it will be displayed over here. But also if there's a longer description of the short description that you have, you can just simply click show more, and the longer description would appear over here as such. Now, apart from that, there is this section that you can see that displays filters. So you can have this displayed or not. It depends with your use case. So if you'd want it to be here, you can just click the button, display filters, and it pop up, and a person can filter the visualization depending on the location and the period selector. But something else that you've noticed is you can categorize your visualization into groups. So if you have multiple visualizations and you want to categorize them into groups, let's say there's column charts or map charts, you can have them categorized as you want. So there's an example already that shows this as well. But lastly, here is where you do the management of your visualizations. All the visualizations that you'd want them to be displayed, you can have them displayed over here. So once I click, you'll be met with this interface where you can drag and drop your visualization after you've added a new visualization from this button. So once you click this button, you'll just be prompted to select the type of visualization, whether it be a visualization or map. So once you select visualization, you select the type if you'd want. And from there, you'd select the actual visualization that is in directly from your DHIS2 instance. And you can add a caption to it as well. So apart from that, you can have visualization set up from different screen sizes. So let's say how you'd want your visualization to be displayed or appear in small screen size, and this is how it would appear. But also you can select how you'd want it to appear in large screen size, and you would configure that as well. So once you're done, you just click save, and everything will appear in your public portal. So here is a quick sample. And apart from that, let me just demonstrate to you how it would appear once you click categorize visualization into groups. So I already have that prepared as well. It's in BCG dashboard, and this is how it would appear. And in terms of the public portal, you would have something like this. There's your show description, but as well as a place where you can select and choose the group or the visualization that are grouped inside your your page. So once again, once you've clicked categorize visualization into groups, you'll just be prompted to insert your label, but as well as your title as well. And from there, whether you'd want your selector to be in form of a drop down or a segmented. So we'll take a look at both and how they would appear in your public portal. And from there, you'd want to create a group. So there's a list of groups here I have prepared, and each group can have its own short description and its own longer description. So just take a look at this. And from this group, dashboard groups column charts, this is how, this is where you will have to make all the configurations that you need to make, from the title, the short name, and short description as well as description. And for visualization, to manage your visualization, it's more or less as before. You just click here and you manage your visualization as before. So something to note, maybe we'd try to have it segmented and see how it would appear. So once we click Save Changes and head over to our portal and refresh. So this is how it would appear as segmented. You have column charts, bar charts, as well as maps. So this is for visualization, and you can have as many visualizations as you'd want. There is no limit. And yeah, now let's take a look at another type of module of which you can have it set up, of which this is a section module. I have two examples of section module with me. From the one that you saw earlier, home, this is a section module. Since it groups the page in forms of sections. So we have the first section, of which is a rich text, but also a second section that highlights all your visualization, and a third section that highlights your key indicators. These are single value visualizations. Now let's take a look how to configure such a module. So just head over to home. Home. So all you'd have to configure is the label, and from there, whether you'd want it to be in a vertical or a horizontal style. So when you click vertical, obviously your sessions will be stacked above each other in a vertical manner. But if you'd want it to be in a horizontal, then your section will be besides one another in a horizontal way. So each section has a section type. So your section can either be a single item or a flexible layout or grid layout. For single item, you can have single items such as whether it be a rich text, a rich content, as our case right now, but also you can have a single visualization, displayed, or have feedback forms. So we'll take a look at each one of them. Also, you can have your type as flexible layout. This is simply just like how visualization behaves, the visualization module. You can arrange your visualization in however way you'd want them to be. But thirdly, it's a grid layout that this is just special for single value visualizations, of which these visualizations will be displayed in a grid format. Now, once we take a look at the first one, welcome note, and this is how your section would look like when configuring. From your label that would present the label, this is the title. So as you can see, when you open our home, here is the title displayed. So you can opt out if you won't want this to be displayed here. You can just not fill the title input. but also the type of which you selected earlier, single item, and item type. So you can have different item type from rich text, as you've seen here below, but also you can have visualization or feedback. So the same case with visual, or the same case with flexible layout. In flexible layout, it's the same. You can have the label, of which is mandatory, the title, of which you can opt out if you don't want the title to be displayed, but you can also manage visualization just like the way we managed in the visualization module. Now, lastly, it's the grid layout. For grid layout, here is where you can add your single value visualization, of which it comes with an image. You can also upload an image to go with the single value visualization. So in our case, we only have one in this DHIS2 instance, of which I've already uploaded here. And when it comes to displaying it in our public portal, this is how it would appear. So you can have as many single value visualization as you want and have them have their own kind of image as well. Now I have another example with me that highlights a section when it's in horizontal display type. So I kept only two sections here: feedback, of which is a single item with rich text, and inquiry, of which is a single item as well with item feedback. So I can also display to you how it would appear in the public portal. And this is how it would appear in form of sections, but in a horizontal layout. So for feedback, there's this inquiry part whereby users, let's say you'd want to have feedback from people that are using your public portal. You can use this feedback to get that feedback from the audience. So here there is a simple setup where all you need in the configuration part is to just have a list of emails, add feedback recipients, list of emails, people that would be receiving your feedback. Yes. So yeah, that's all in the section part. So I would love to jump into the next part, that is static module. So for a static module, here is where you can publish your blog posts, whether it be blog posts or articles or news item. You can have it done with our static module. So for a static module, it's just the same as how visualization is. You'll have to input your label and title, but as well as add items. So each item will represent either a single blog post or a single item or a single news item. So I have an example set up here of a single blog post whereby you can have the title, the short description, and also the content itself, all of it displayed. So when it comes to the public portal, once we head over to blog, this is how your articles or blog posts will be displayed. So we'd have a title and a short description, but once you click learn more, you can have the entire thing displayed over here for your user to read and for them to get some sort of engagement. Now let's head over to our final module, of which is the module, the document module, I mean. So for document module, here is where you can share your documents, all the documents you'd want. And when it comes to configuring, you just have to create a new module of type documents. So I already have it set it up over here, reports. And once you click, the label will be reports and titles your own reports. So you can have it as well. If you choose to categorize your document into groups, you can choose whether they would be in drop down or in a segmented way. And also you can add as many documents as you'd want, just in a simple click of a button, add document. You choose your label, and your ID will be auto-generated or filled from the label to be used as the URL. and select the file type that you'd want. So for right now, currently, we only support one file type, of which it's the PDF type, but later on, we might support other versions as well. So after that, you can click add and you'd have your PDF set up over there. Now, something else to note, once you've set up your modules, you can configure now how you'd want them to be displayed in your public portal. So in order to display your modules in the public portal, you'd have to go over to the next section, of which is the app menu. So here in the app menu, let me click. Here in the app menu is where you configure how you'd want your modules to be displayed. So for instance, I have it displayed in this format, but whether some use cases might require you to have some of them grouped, like for instance, in ANC and BCG, you'd want them to be grouped in one page, you can have that grouped. But also you can decide whether you'd want your menus to be in a sidebar or in the header section. So if you click the header section and click save and go over to the public portal and refresh, this is how your public portal would appear. So all your menus will be displayed in the header part as such. Also, let's say you don't want this to be together, you want this to be grouped, you can also do that. In the add menu item, you can select the group type. So once you select the group type, you can upload your image, let's say visualization, and have a label for it. And once you select, insert the label, you can add sub items. So I'll just click the ANC and also the BCG one and create. So once we create, there's this sort menu item whereby you can sort also how you'd want your menu items to appear. So let's say I would love it to be below the home module. So save order and save section. So once this is saved, you can head over to your public portal and refresh. And when you refresh, this is how it would appear. So you'd have visualizations here and it would list all the visualizations that you have. As simple as that. Now, something else. Once you have all this configured, you'd have your fully fledged public portal with you, all set and ready to deploy. But something else to note, there is this last section of which is important export configuration. So once you're done, you'd want to, let's say, export this configuration and have it saved somewhere. Maybe, for instance, you'd want to have another public portal set up, but you'd not want to start from scratch. So you can just come here and export your configuration. And once you've done that, once you're in your new instance or you've created a new instance, you can just opt to import your configurations again. So as such, we have our public portal ready and okay, click save. Okay, and all ready for use. So that concludes my short demonstration, and I would welcome. Okay, something to note. Till now, we already have use cases from different organizations. For instance, for instance, Somalia are already using this in their HMIS. They're using public portal, and also HISP Uganda have their use case in education and are currently using it. So, yeah, that's all. And I would like to welcome questions from the audience or any feedback. Okay, there was a question to share my link, and I'll have it shared right now.
Let's see, it looks like there's been quite a lot of discussion in the in the chat there, but GIF's been active answering questions. Um, that's awesome. Let's see. Documentation, application URL, dashboard. Great, yeah. There's been a lot of discussion in there. Do you want to talk a little bit, Alan, about kind of like the big picture of how this is implemented, like the kind of tech stack that you use and yeah, how you have designed this to kind of talk with DHIS2 securely?
I'm sorry, could you repeat?
Yeah, do you want to talk about just the kind of like the big picture of the tech that's used to make this both the public portal and the manager app and um, yeah, ways that it can be deployed?
Okay. So for the public portal, we used Next.js to have it developed. And also for the FlexiPortal Manager app, we used JS2 app using React. So we use them on a repo to have them both in one repository. And there are various ways of which you can deploy or have it installed. One of the ways is through local, from Git cloning it, obviously in your local environment. And also you can have it deployed through the use of Docker. Yeah. So I guess we have documentation that highlights all these different ways of which you can have your FlexiPortal deployed. So for portal manager, for public portal, you can have it deployed either using Docker or Vercel, or you can use PM2 as well. But the easiest way, if you are non-technical, you can have it easily launched through Vercel. And for FlexiPortal, you can have it installed directly from your DHIS2 instance through the app, or you can manually install it from our GitHub repository in the release page. Yes. So I would love to welcome if any of my team members would love to chip in and add more.
Yeah, sorry. I'm not sure if I've been heard. Hello?
Sorry? Yeah, I can hear
We
you.
can hear you. Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you. My name is Gift. I'm part of the development team in this Tanzania. I just wanted to add a few things. So yeah, as Alan pointed out, so that most of the portal is designed around Next.js, and what we've done is we do connect to DHS2, but what we have ensured is that only the backend part of Next.js is the one that is communicating with your DHS2 instance. This is from a security perspective. It creates some sort of a security mechanism where the your app, when it's running in the browser, it doesn't directly connect to your DHIS2 instance, so that only the backend of the Next.js is the one that is connected. And for the security, okay, for the authentication that we use in DHIS2, we have reinforced using of the personal access token. This is so that you can have finer control of what is being accessed within your instance. So for most use cases, we recommend creating a personal access token that is limited to only get requests. The only time you would need a post access is if you're using the feedback form. But for the rest of the for the rest of the visualizations and every other modules, you just need the get you need the get request access, and the rest you have to just disable for that particular access token that you use for your FlexiPortal. So yeah, just in brief, that is what we have done in the backend. Sorry, in the FlexiPortal. But the documentation link was shared. Some of these were active. We've actually talked about this in the documentation. In the documentation site that was shared. So hopefully, if you're more interested, we're also available in case if you have any issues, you can just directly contact us through our emails. I think we'll share them. But yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, good answer. Thanks. I'm also curious if people have requests. I mean, this is already full of lots of very good features, but if people have either bug reports or feature requests, do you have a platform for that? I actually know the answer to this already, but this may be just useful to know for the others here, maybe.
Yes. For anyone who's interested in either having some feedback or contributing, this is an open source project in GitHub, and our current mode of uh, feedback, reporting, or issues, we use the GitHub issues. So in case if you have any issue, that we have a GitHub template that allows you to report whether it's a new request that you have, or if whether it's a bug report. We have those templates. So just go to the our GitHub page. I will share it in the chat as well, and then to the issues tab, and then you can report your issue either as a feedback or a bug report, or just something that you'd like to see us work on. So yeah, that is the current method that we use.
Nice. Nice, thanks. Looks like we have let's see, a couple questions in the chat again. Maybe in order, is it possible to have real-time data in FlexiPortal? If so, how?
So maybe just to answer that, the kind of data we now display in the public portal coincides with what you have in your instance in the data visualizer app or in the dashboard. So we currently only support those kind of visualizations. However, if you're interested in that, I think it's good feedback. We can maybe report it, and we see how we further implement that, or we see if it's visible for us to implement.
Cool. Next one is you said the token, the access token only needs post access if you're using the feedback form. Is that data feedback being posted to DHIS2? If so, how and where is that being stored?
So implementation doesn't actually push the data to DHIS2. What it does, it uses the email settings within DHIS2 to, as Eric showed, Alan showed in the configuration. So it's not, we only use DHIS2 as a mail saver to send the emails to the different emails that you configure.
Cool, good solution. So it basically just sends a message of like send an email to the address.
Yes.
Nice. So the next question is, what is the main advantage over the dashboard app in DHIS2?
sorry. So did you ask the question about what's the difference between Flexi and the dashboard apps?
Yeah. Might be an easy question, but you can go ahead.
Yeah. So the major difference between the two is the FlexiPortal allows you to have your visualizations publicly accessible without having to log in within DHIS2. So FlexiPortal is a means to communicate your data that you have in DHIS2 that is locked within the authentication wall to be displayed publicly. And of course, to note, that is for public data only. Whatever data you expose through the FlexiPortal will be seen by anyone without any authorization or authentication. So that is the major difference between the two dashboard applications.
Nice. Also, Mozafar has a couple technical questions. Maybe I'll let him unmute and ask them himself.
Yeah, I just guess the main thing is just about how it's if it can use Next.js features for improving performance and scaling. I was thinking static site generation. If if it's something in your mind, I think I asked this before, and I know it's not easy because there are too many options to statically generate all the pages, but maybe in some scenarios there are simpler portals where they could benefit from just statically generating. And the other one, more generally, just like if you've been using cache settings and so on in Next.js to reduce the times you could talk to DHIS, and if you have some insights from about the scaling issues and how it scales for public access for the instances that you deployed. Because I mean, one of the coolest things about this solution that you could serve things without exhausting the HIS server. So you don't, and I'm wondering how you're doing that in practice, how you're seeing it working.
Yeah. So thank you for the question. My questions, Mozafar. Yes. So this is one area that actually pushed us to use Next.js for this solution, and we wanted to leverage the kind of performance enhancements that Next.js has to actually solve many of those challenges that we've just spoken about. But so we do have active development that is we are trying to research what is the best possible approach. Because one of the key issues that we are having issues with is understanding the caching strategies and how we can leverage them to make sure that we have the best combination possible to allow the exporter to be performant, but as well to be people to be able to have like we want to avoid stale data. So one of the key things we are looking into, we want to have options because one thing we realized is we have different DHIS2 we have different DHIS2 implementations. There are some that have data that doesn't change for maybe 3 or 2 months. There are some that the data actually changes every night. So we want to have solution that can cater for all of those. So what we're looking into is we want to have some sort of a configuration-based caching that would be different in the different implementations. So what we're aiming for is for those instances that don't really change over a very long period of time. We want to leverage static site regeneration, meaning when you're done configuring your portal, you just build it and everything will be completely static. Of course, unless if you're working with the filters and stuff like that, that will need to request data to DHIS2. But most of the application will be static. But we also want to have maybe improved caching for those implementations that maybe have more frequent data changes. So we also want to cater for those as well. That is an ongoing process. We do have a pull request that is actually working on that scenarios and how we can leverage Next.js's catching strategies to work on that. I hope I have answered your question, Mozafa.
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. It's great that you can do a lot of this with Next.js. So, yeah, I think that's very powerful. Thank you.
Looks like we have.
Thank you. Um, so I just wanted to address a few questions that I'm seeing on the chat as well. We currently don't support multi-languages, Victor, but we are working on having some sort of okay with multi-languages is a bit tricky because okay if you are deploying it in a maybe we all work in English environment, but if you I believe Soliditas is now working to deploy it in their context in which they use Portuguese. So some of the configuration areas may be in Portuguese, but we are working on having the strings translated to Portuguese as well. But one of the things we received as feedback and something we can work on is having multi-language support, meaning a person can change the language within the website. That is something that is already listed in our what to work on, and so we are going to work on it. To answer echoes, so that is answer for Victor. I hope that's okay, Victor. Yes, thank you. Echo says that FlexiPortal puts the data to the public platform or the public platform pulls the data. So FlexiPortal just it uses the DHS to API to get data from your DHS to instance and just displays the data in the portal that you see. The only time we push data to DHS2 is during the sending of email, in which we use the DHS2 email services to send emails to the people you have listed for the feedback form. But other than that, the FlexiPortal only pulls data from your instance. I hope that was answered. We have a question from Corsair. So it's not necessary to host it in a different domain. You can have your FlexiPortal within the same domain as your DHS2 instance. That is okay. You may have to build it with a subpath if you want it accessible through a subpath. All of that is written in the documentation as well. But yeah, you can have it within the same domain. Thank you. Thank you, Amalia. Thank you, okay. Echo. Thank you, Eric. Yeah, so Eric had a question, I believe, about deploying embedding some of the visual thing that is interesting. Maybe we can further discuss on it as well. Yeah, I think that's all the questions. Thanks.
Yeah. Let's see. Have you shared your contact info? Well, I guess in case people have any more questions, they can maybe post them on the community of practice post for this meetup, and Gift and Alan and the others from His Tanzania can respond. But I think we're getting to the end of the hour here. So yeah, again, awesome work on this project. It's got a ton of awesome features, and it yeah, the feedback here is accurate. This is great, and hope other people are able to uh, use it too and contribute and be a part of the project. So thanks again. Qasim, do you have anything that you want to add before we sign off?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Just remember to redeem your badge by clicking in the link in the messages. And then if you have not highlighted the badge, you can by going to your COP profile settings. You can highlight that badge in your COP profile.
Awesome.
Yes. Also, just a reminder. Thanks, Farai, for the feedback. The Google Calendar invitation has been updated, and for everyone else, also make sure to join the Developer Meetups link in the COP topics. So you get the Zoom link directly as a direct message in your COP profile.
So so yeah, it looks like 15 minutes before the meeting, we get a DM on the community of practice with the link. Is that right?
Yes.
Awesome. Great. Thanks again, everyone. See you at the next meetup, and yeah, happy coding.